Abide. Cease any and all manner of perambulation. Don't know who you all are, but unexpected guests are categorically unwelcome here. How'd you even find this place? Maybe I should just shoot you and glean details from your logs.
Ah, Exemplar, if I may. Surely you recognize such a notable member of our cohort, Marisol Delgado. The Endpoint?
I can't recall if I ended whoever came up with that name. Surely hope so.
You were head causality intercessor of the Department of Preemptive Causal Redirection, right up till the end, correct?
More or less.
Well, what a fortuitous alignment of low probability events this is. Our efforts here are based on your former department. You should confer with Anchoress Brunn straight away.
Oh, I'm quite certain Anchoress Brunn would relish the opportunity to talk your ear off. We actually sought to find you and others of your program, Intercessor Delgado. A serendipitous event, you arriving. Nonetheless, I'd ask you to follow certain precautions. Will you heed all requests and vouchsafe for your colleagues here? Them being unknown to us and all.
We'll mind our manners, Exemplar. I'll see to it.
Then, you may all proceed. You'll find Wilhelmina up the lift, 4th floor.
Welcome to Point Obviation.
Anchoress Brunn is continuing Anais' research from Winter's Grass. I'm sure of it. Best play along for now, until we can ascertain the best course of action.
This locale bears greater security and alertness than most Order strongholds. We'd best be wary.
Look, everyone! It's the Endpoint. Come to join us, I take it.
I do have a unique interest in what you all are doing here.
Yeah! I am a long-time vocal exponent of your work, Intercessor Delgado. I hope you don't mind me saying. Go on up. You're expected.
Doubt the Anchoress will walk away from the research lightly. May require some aggressive convincing.
Oh, who's this? Oh, yes, I remember you. We met earlier at the site of my former seclusion. I've heard much of your exploits since. If I recall correctly, you helped me prove my argument that pacifism always presents the best options. I admit I have modified that opinion slightly since then. I understand your actions led to Seer Wiley's unfortunate demise. Such a bright boy, such promise. And as for you, I've been informed that you're Marisol Delgado. I've read your file. An impressive body of work, though often quite mortiferously inclined.
Less so over time. There were too many pesky repercussions, I came to find.
Yes, well, to what do we owe the pleasure? Are you familiar with our goals? Come to join up, perhaps, or should I say re-enlist? Isn't it, though? So much more room to think. No one else leaving their sweaty breeches next to the comestibles nook. It's a refurbished test chamber, in fact. The facility was originally utilized in experiments by the Department of Preemptive Causal Redirection, so it's highly appropriate for the vital work we're doing here. You saw the disputation, though. Tell me, what did you think? You read it, yes? A truly unfortunate accident. I had posted my disputation and stated my intention to leave. We argued heatedly. Objects were thrown. She stumbled and fell badly. We try to honor her loss. Such tragedy only underlines the importance of our endeavors here. Each day the equation remains unsolved, countless more tragedies occur. We must succeed at the soonest possible haste. Surely you're aware of the myriad errors of our current presiding bishop and previous regime. One of whom shut down the division that operated here, the other squandered it. Our sect aims to end human suffering, sooner than later. We've taken great inspiration from your former department, from their methods and their science. To solve the universal equation in our lifetime requires bold action, clever calculation, and assiduous work. Yes, we have Grace, that is Exemplar Southworth, to thank for that. Her visits to the Anchorhold were quite thought-provoking, as was the research she showed me from Sia Bujold. Bujold's thinking was unconventional, ahead of her time. Why, in fact, she's here with us now today, overseeing an experiment that proves her researcher's theories.
Really? Sia Bujold is here, at present, in this facility? The one we're presently standing in?
Not long at all. We reached out to her on Cloister. She agreed to join us immediately. If you thought her work before was captivating, wait until you hear the experiment she's overseeing now. The intent is to represent the building blocks of the universe within a test chamber, then extrapolate data revealing the universal equation from the micro-universe that forms.
Sounds like it could change everything, one might say.
Why, you should go see for yourself. As former colleagues, I'm sure you'd like to reacquaint. Go on. I'll call down to let her know you're coming. Yes, she's monitoring the experiment. I'll have elevator access unlocked so you can join her. Do please stay in the observation area, though. The work is quite delicate. We'll speak further after you check over Sia Bujold's work and the experiment concludes. Oh, so exciting. How much longer do you predict preparations will take?
Almost ready. Perfect timing for my former colleague to peer review my work. I'll press them to verify my settings. Thereupon, we will begin.
Splendid. While others pontificate, we act. I await word of our success with bated breath.
Head Intercessor Delgado, what an opportune time for you to appear. At the perfect moment to assist our experiment.
What in the endless void are you?
Shh. Comms off, but others are near. I need your aid before this ridiculous affair careens into disaster. Can I rely on you this time? Or will you already intend on scurrying away again? I came to derail this line of inquiry in such a discommodious way that no one would ever consider trying it again. For all the aforementioned reasons of it likely causing, or at least queuing up and leading to, the end of all things. You chose to leave me behind, again. So when they came calling, I thought it an opportunity to sort it all myself. Yet, admittedly, at this moment, I could use your assistance.
This shouldn't be your burden. It's on me.
You don't get to decide that, or adjudicate, or coolly comment in a steely growl. Not falling for that a 10th time. Help, or stay out of my way. The test involves 4 stations. Each represents one of the fundamental building blocks of the universe. Zeranium gas, macro-ivs, nucleons, N-rays.
All the usual stuff. That test chamber is where all are meant to mix. To simulate a mini-universe I can apply my theories to, pull data from, and deduce the universal equation in a reduced time frame. We know what happens if that's successful, so I need you to muck with each station's settings, then initiate the experiment. All you need to do is adjust each station's settings slightly. Things will cascade from there. Remember, subtlety is required.
Yes, if we alter the experiment input data in a less than delicate fashion, Brun will notice, I assure you.
The guards on the second floor won't appreciate visitors, so avoid getting spotted. Here's a maintenance key. Head down the vent. It's only the fate of the galaxy riding on it, so perhaps try to be careful.
P and Q are true if P is true or Q is true. A simple truth table for turbulent times.
Hostile in proximity. Imagine that'll do. That should do it. That'll do. Seems sufficiently scrambled.
If you're done, evaluating my work and all settings are final, enter the terminal command to void the oxygen from the test chamber. The experiment will then begin. Commendable effort scrambling those settings.
Did it work? Did it work? Cerebrum, was it a success? What happened?
Hold the applause just yet. I need to run the numbers. I'm sending the others back up to you. They can describe the proceedings in detail.
I shall await their arrival. Brun out. That is how these messages end, yes? If not, farewell.
The results of the experiment will be a career-ending embarrassment for Brun, but she won't accept this lightly. We'll need to do more.
Yes, our next steps here will be crucial. I know this type of mission well. Granted, my targets were always meticulously well-researched beforehand.
You'll need to convince her, destroy her logic, end this research for good. All it requires is a forceful array of incisive argumentation, logical reasoning, coercive persuasion, and cognitive contortioning.
You mean one of our old brain-off maneuvers? Really? That's what the rank and file in our old department used to call it. Provost Bolding considered it a casual moniker unbefitting of an order scientician.
Make Brun give up on science, logic, and reason entirely. Then no one will ever dare continue the research again. Between you and Marisol, it should be a light challenge. Easy.
A brain-off against an Order anchorite isn't entirely without risk. We could employ certain other methods to deal with her. From our former department's playbook.
Oh, yes, a book you wrote titled Making an Execution Look Like an Accident. Despite the moral quandary ideally involved, unseen consequences still abound.
That's hyperbolic at best. Data suggests significantly fewer unpredicted outcomes than outright murder, if properly executed. And I'm quite capable of skewing results in our favor.
And here I thought you'd begun to change.
Dishonorable skullduggery better befits Auntie's choice than the Order. If we must end this experiment, killing is the most respectable option.
I'm not arguing it's the best option, just that it is an option. Rightly or wrongly, I am familiar with the cost involved.
The Order of the Ascendant should be dedicated to uplifting humanity, not racking up a body count unduly. Our former department was shut down for things like this. Success isn't guaranteed. A fair degree of cleverness is required. But you would have the help of someone reasonably intellectually nimble.
I would be willing and on hand to assist, and the other option would remain if we botch it. All right, our old playbook it is.
I don't think you realize what's at stake here. The chances are 13.8% less successful. That's a statistically significant amount closer to catastrophe.
Anais, I need to ask. You've been here a while. You know this facility. What's our best strategy for making an accidental death succeed?
Oh, really? You disregard my advice on the plan, then ask for my recommendations on a worse one? Of course. It's not like either of us prefers epic disaster and widespread misfortune. That is a patently ridiculous statement rife with empty logic. I hope you'll attempt to undermine her confidence. But if you should fail, you'll need a viable backup plan or it will erase any chance of success completely. The Anchorus is housed in a test chamber similar to this one. It's been refurbished with some rather tacky furniture, but much of the old experimental apparatus remains. There is a hatch near the elevator upstairs. An external ledge leads to a vent system that can connect the two chambers. Doing so will expose the Anchorus to a lethal atmosphere. I'll need to make an announcement afterward that an accident has occurred tied into the experiment.
For an extemporaneous plan, it's not a bad one. What if the Anchorus realizes what we're doing and calls for help?
I'll cut off her comms when she begins pleading. Oh, that sounds even more heartless when I say it out loud. Please choose wisely. Typical argumentation may prove useless, and she'll likely see through most attempts at deception. Be clever, unpredictable, surprise her. Here's the hatch key in case you need it. May all your endeavors elicit expected results. And Marisol, do keep out of trouble.
There you are. You saw the experiment through to the end, yes? The data hasn't arrived yet, so please do tell. Was it as beautiful as I imagined? Any inklings to the result? Or perhaps I oughtn't to have recloistered myself till after the experiment concluded, Well, don't just stand there. Tell me everything. What? Are you all right? Did you hit your head coming up here? I mean, what is that supposed to mean? It couldn't... Wait. Let's start from the beginning. Step me through your understanding of what's gone awry. I assure you it is not. Grace was personally responsible for its selection after advisement by our team. Everything is modeled after top-order labs. What else concerned you? These are all fundamental building blocks of the universe. Together, they form the primordial soup our galaxy was formed from. This is widely recognized in scientific circles. This was just a start. Such models typically make an enormous amount of errors at first. All quite expected, an anticipated setback, nothing more. It simply needs to be revised and refined. You certainly seem to be making a lot out of this, though, one must say. I'm not sure if that was so smart it sounded unintelligible, or, well, the contrary. But I glean some logic out of there. Somewhere. Look, there may be some validity to some of your points, yes. But we'll improve. We will continue to stride forward. There's absolutely no need for all this doom and gloom. Oh, is one of you a seer now? Because I put considerable more stock in the prognostications of the Order's prime mathematicians than I do any old run-of-the-mill soothsayer. Now, is that all? Because I think I've had enough of all this. Everything we've done here is built off Seer Bujold's research, which is quite brilliant. While your dialectical alternative of think is distractingly unsettling, perhaps I am, at times, pompously self-assured. I should consider more my own fallibility. Ah, the experiment data just arrived in my terminal. Allow me to eyeball it a moment. Perhaps there's something here to help prove or disprove any of what you've been saying. There was some variance to the input data. Not far beyond acceptable parameters, but curious. Could explain the failure. I believe I followed that, but... Oh, come. One bad test wouldn't mean the science is completely flawed. This has been a difficult conversation. Challenging, disputatious, at times compelling. Yet I remain unswayed.
If I may, I have a point I'd like to add. There's a critical flaw in Seer Bujold's approach I think best illustrated by this English phrase. Time flies like an arrow. Fruit flies like a banana. I much appreciate this jest. Very simple, yet clever. Because in English, the word like can mean similar to or I prefer. And flies can be to soar, or plural of the insect. Through this perspective, it functions, makes sense, is humorous even. But in another language where words' meanings differ slightly, it does not. The framework we interpret the statement from changes, thus rendering it uninterpretable. False. Bujold's method of shortcutting the universal equation is much the same.
It lacks context. When you extrapolate the data from the mini-universe to the larger one, the information itself may scale correctly, but fail to interrelate. That is an interesting thought puzzle. As humorous as it is inapplicable. I remain unswayed.
We tried. Our fallback plan's our only option now. Head for the hatch.
What was that? You're starting to worry me. What do you intend to do?
Fellow scholars of the Order, a tragic accident has occurred. During our recent experiment in test chamber beta, we failed to recognize that ventilation systems have been left connected to test chamber alpha. As you know, there's been recently repaired as an enclosure for a She gave her life for science. It's true that we found the related research deeply flawed, but
I understand now why they say never meet your heroes, Intercessor Delgado. You've truly been an enormous disappointment. A key experiment fails and Ancrus Brunn falls prey to an unfortunate accident right after you and your consort arrive. And we are all to believe these events are unrelated?
That's circumstantial and more than a mite bit paranoid. I expect better from an Order scientician. Even one from the Department of Applied Scientism.
Don't think I don't see your handprints all over this, Delgado. Don't try to lay the responsibility for this on me. I'm not buying it. The Anchoress, poor trusting soul that she was, may have believed you were here in good faith. But I don't. You're looking more and more like enemies to me. You think I'm predisposed to assume their logic is sound and reasoning impeccable? Perhaps I do defer in part where such intellects are involved. Yet, the greater facts of this matter remain unevinced, and I remain unconvinced. An interesting argument. Well, I don't mean to waylay you overlong further. I know you're to blame. I just wanted to see how far you were gonna take this. I can't believe Anchoress Brunn fell for any of it. Fellow exemplars of the Order, commence hostilities!
Torpificator is charged.
Prepare for havoc!
Commander, throwing energy your way. Locking them down. Mitigating the threat.
As soon as my robustness is restored. Unleash my might upon them. They're beyond my range. Death to the complicit!
Oh, look who it is. The legendary former head intercessor of the Order. Another mission successfully completed. Made it through all that without a scratch, hmm? Glad to see. Say, I know this was difficult and rather a mess, but you listened. You tried to do right before you did what you must. I appreciate it, the attempt. No matter how that may sound.
The credit or blame belongs to the commander here. It was their decision, ultimately.
You forget I know you. You always thought you knew better. No one could ever convince you of anything. Before, that is. Good to see. Maybe you are facing yourself.
There are a few things I'm still not used to saying. I was wrong. I'm sorry. Please. And thank you. But thank you, Anais.
At any rate, I'm off. You all take care now. Marisol, don't be too enigmatic or anything. Try. Before I forget. Meant to give you this earlier.
Oh, thank you, Anais. Goodbye. Oh, not really. Not yet, at any rate. Everything's a bit raw right now. But suppose I will be. Thank you, dear.
I hope that Bouchol has not softened your instinct. We've many battles yet to fight.
Commander, it's customary to evaluate results after a mission of reasonable significance. Would now be good? I've had some time to cogitate over what occurred at Point Obviation. Some parts don't sit right with me still. Wonder if you and I might talk it through. A bit, yes. With the work I used to do, I'm no stranger to guilt and regret. Midway into my requisite sleep cycle is when it usually plagues me the most. We could have done better by Anchoress Brunn. If we'd properly convinced her to abandon the research, I'd doubtlessly still lament duping her, but she'd be alive. And yet, such actions were par for the course for me in the past. When my remorse for Brunn rears its head, it will need to get in line. Yes, Southworth was complicit. And now she's dead. I hope so, at least. According to Anais, we could have reduced the likelihood of that occurring by completing the brain-off. It's not anywhere near zero, but it's unlikely. She seemed pleased that we at least attempted to address her concerns, so I've changed, apparently. Thanks to you. It's been a while since anyone gave me a good talking to like Anais did. And I'll admit your influence has been rather positive. I'm pleased with the path I'm on now. I didn't think this is what the plan had in store for me. I've been facing myself with the same zeal I face my enemies. With tidier results. Appreciate you taking the time to talk it over, Commander.
It's silent as a tomb. I hope we aren't too late. If Virgil's not about, he's like to be in the training grounds depths. There's a lift that will take us lower, located behind the door next to the stairs.
Tristan! It's a relief to see a friendly face. Do come up.
Virgil! Oh, thank the architect I found you intact. We visited the Supreme Arbiter's office in Central Control and found something... impossible.
Impossible? Why is it impossible? So that you may claim ignorance as to the truth of what you've uncovered? Fine. If you're still so thick-skulled, Tristan, then I can see I've no choice but to confess. Hold. Do you hear movement?
Attention, Arbiter Virgil Montag. Under the jurisdiction of the Council, we stand to bring you low. Do not resist.
Damnation! I knew the Sentinels were looking for me, but I did not expect they would come to this place. We have no choice but to fight. I can operate our turrets from this location, but you must engage the Sentinels head-on to prevent our being overwhelmed. Go now!
Arbiter Montag, lay down your arms. Surrender and die.
Enemy moving into
Right where you...
Exerting my strength.
Get it while it's energized.
Those fools were but an expeditionary force. I've no doubt the bulk of their number remains on the surface. I shall take an alternate path to prepare a surprise for our would-be assailants. Then I shall flank them as you engage them.
Hold. You were beginning to say something before we were ambushed. I would care to hear it.
We cannot have this conversation until we are safe. Engage those on the surface and I shall join you. Go now.
Enough! Our being at odds with the Council is one thing, but that was a small army! What have you done?
You already know whether you're willing to admit it or not. Do you sincerely have a need for me to spell it out before you'll face the truth? Very well then. Tristan, you stand before the murderer of the Supreme Arbiter.
I don't believe this. The Council must have captured you and sent you to mental refreshment. It's the only...
Open your eyes, Rao. Those Sentinels were here with due cause. The elimination of a murderer. The Supreme Arbiter was planning to send a message in her final moments, pledging allegiance to the Council. Who do you think bore witness to those final moments? I did what I thought was just.
No. You lied to me?
I had to. I knew that if you learned what had transpired, why I did what I did, it would destroy you.
Would it? Or were you just trying to save yourself from my wrath?
With the demands this war has made on us all, I'd not seen our mentor for some time. My visit was meant to be a surprise. Unfortunately, it was. I overheard her decision to align herself with the Consul before she realized I was there. This admission, I had no choice but to act.
But there was a choice. Why didn't you come to me? Together we could have come up with something. Some other course of action.
Because I didn't want you to know. I never wanted you to learn the truth because I feared you'd lose your faith. No. Sentinel Peralt's remarks were the first I'd heard of any secret room. I feared what you might learn there, so I scrambled to find an agent who might locate the room before you. I only had one contact who I knew may be able to do the job. Obviously, he did not succeed. I was pleased to learn that my decision did not result in his death, at the very least. That is news to me. A junior arbiter judging Tristan. I can't imagine you let that stand.
Killing one of Arcadia's future arbiters over a singular breach of rank would have been most tragic, but this is not the matter we're here to discuss. No. I can, if the situation was truly as he claims, understand his initial decision. Perhaps I even sympathize. Just a little. But playing false with me, that's another matter entirely, and the matter of justice remains. You're right. You're right. I can't let emotion get the better of me. I find myself torn. Though I still believe wholeheartedly in protectorate law, you and I have certainly encountered other dubious situations. You taught me to judge based on merits. Together we spared some and executed others. But what I have learned with you shall be most difficult to apply here. Virgil is my sworn brother, and he acted under duress. But killing the Supreme Arbiter is unforgivable. Yes, but it is beyond the jurisdiction of even those such as us to mete out such a judgment. It should have been elevated to higher channels.
And how would the Consul have reacted to an official accusation of treason by an inferior, no less? You know they care not for evidence.
But the Supreme Arbiter herself taught us exactly that. That evidence proves the crime. Surely she wouldn't have been so hypocritical as to deny that?
People change when faced with their own death. I would expect you'd learned that by now.
Except that Arbiter's problem was one of intent, not action. I do see some semblance, however. But even if that is the case, there is no room for interpretation here. Sparing Virgil would directly reject all I've been taught to uphold. But I should. It's as I said, I must execute Virgil for his crimes. But to punish him for finding and killing a traitor out of loyalty, blast these complications. The law is clear on this. It is explicitly illegal for an inferior to execute their superior. The issue must be accelerated to a higher authority. But is addressing traitorism not the utmost priority of any arbiter? Is not the betrayal of everything we stand for more significant than a breach of protocol? I wish to argue with you. With myself, with Virgil, with the Supreme Arbiter. This madness should never have come to pass. But it has. And I must contend with that. I cannot bring myself to execute my sworn brother. That sounds like the self-justification of a misanthrope. I suppose we'll simply have to wait and see if this decision was a horrible mistake. I know not what to make of the Supreme Arbiter's betrayal. I'll have to ruminate on it for some time. But that aside, I forgive you, Virgil. You are spared.
Wise choice. You'll sleep better tonight, I swear. And every other, forevermore.
I don't know what to say. I just wish there had been some other option. Oh, I have some measure of spine left, believe me. I can at least promise to spare you such an embarrassing display. 1,000 words of thanks for meeting me here, Tristan. I know not what the future holds for us, but for the time being I must make myself scarce. Though, before I go, a parting gift. May Tristan make use of it better than I.
Go with the Sovereign's blessing, brother. And be careful. If you survive today only to be brought low by an agent of the Consul at a later point, I shall be most annoyed. Commander, this has all been draining. I need time to process what we've learned today. What I've done. Later, I hope we might discuss it. Shall stand against us!
Passes are deployed. Free energy if you can reach it. Taking the fight out of them.
Lethal measures at the ready, Commander!
I look forward to the reclamation of the Hyperion web. Hopefully you shall facilitate that. Now, how might we be of use to one another? Yes! Excellent! Take that, reductionists! Your horrid little surveillance devices shall finally be used for what their purpose should have been! Don't tell anyone about that outburst, please. Here's something to keep you quiet. I must admit I first had doubts, due to your association with a cultist. But yes, you've earned not only my trust, but the Order's as well. I hope you'll continue working with us. I've informed the presiding bishop you're coming to speak with her. She can be found in the room off the main stairwell. I'm sure I don't need to say this, but if you even think about bringing harm to Ruth, I shall know. Be on your very, very best behavior.
I know you said you weren't interested in helping the Order and Auntie's Choice work together, but I beg you to reconsider. A critical juncture is fast approaching. When you go in to speak with the presiding bishop, please raise the issue with her. I assure you this is the correct thing to do, for yourself, for us, for Arcadia. If you continue working for the Order alone, it will likely burn any possible bridge with Auntie's Choice. So this is our last and only chance. Even in the face of logic and reason? Why? Save for the Protectorate, it would be to the benefit of all. Some of my cohort may disagree, but I believe any other course of action to be a dire departure from the plan. I implore you to reconsider. Farewell. I would say good luck, but I put no stock in chance, only probability. May the plan favor us against long odds.
The Order has always proclaimed patience as a virtue, but I am pleased my waiting is finally at its endpoint. For so long, you have only existed as numerical values on a chart, a bright star in a constellation of possibilities, as it were. Now, with your arrival, the Order nears the totality of its goals, provided you are willing to stay aligned with our cause. Prudent. Now then, I gather you already know who I am, but science has shown that good manners strengthen developing relationships by 5.3%. So, allow me to introduce myself. I am Ruth Bassar, third presiding bishop of the Order of the Ascendant, supreme calculator, and, plan willing, the architect of Arcadia's prosperous future. I admit, when I sent my initial message, I did not exactly know who its recipient would be. But I trusted the plan, and lo and behold, it provided you as the solution. Your recent exploits at Greater Tranquility Station have certainly made for compelling reading material. Confronting an assassin, and thereby sparing the delegates' lives before the rift inexplicably destroyed the station? Such a commendable effort is worthy of acknowledgement. If your actions were so easily imitable, then we would not be speaking right now. Accept the credit. However, there's something of even greater import we must discuss. It's recently come to my attention that secret communications have been exchanged between Laplace's garden and the undisputed claim. Do you know anything about that? I agree. I once believed the risks of a negative outcome were acceptably low, justifying the pursuit of a peaceful resolution. But Greater Tranquility altered those numbers. I will speak with Levin and tell him to cease all transmissions with the undisputed claim immediately. The Order does not require a corporation's help to win this war. But now, let us move on from this discussion. The Archive remains at the forefront of my mind, as it must be on yours, or else you would not be here. Rift data. And how did you come by this acquisition, if I may ask? It troubles you, what you had to do to get this data. It must have been a difficult choice. But difficulty is not a metric useful in judging a decision as right or wrong. Something hard is only hard. Time determines the rest. Walk me through your plan, then. Once the data is processed, what then? And so it may, but perhaps we are putting the solution before the problem. Until the Order has control over the Archive again, this discussion is all but moot. Any way I interpret the numbers, it is obvious the plan brought you here to deliver the Archive out of Protectorate subjugation and back into Order hands. But before we go further, you should be aware, by aligning yourself with us in this matter, Auntie's Choice will almost assuredly see you as a threat to their interests. Are you prepared to accept that consequence? Nobly put, but Auntie Cleo made herself an enemy of all Arcadia when she sent her forces into our colony. Do not assign yourself guilt for what we must do in response. Let us now discuss the particulars of what will be required to reclaim the Archive. Fortunately, I have given this some thought, and already have a strategy in place. First, we must reclaim Spyreton from the enemy. Spyreton once served as the Order's headquarters, due to its proximity to the Archive. Its loss was an affront, and remains so. More importantly, there is a lift located in Spyreton which can deliver our troops into the Archive to assist you against the Protectorate. Unlocking and calling that lift can only be done from within the Archive, however. So you will need to infiltrate the Archive by alternate means, via a bridge connected to Newton. Fortunately, I am told you already dealt with the cultists there. Unfortunately, you will still need to find a way past a small rift currently blocking the bridge. Ordinarily, I do not fancy surprises, but you are proving an exception to that rule. With such a device in hand, bypassing the rift should be as rudimentary as pie. And perhaps at some later date, you will also permit our scientists to analyze this gadget at length in one of our labs, provided all goes according to plan. There is a computronical key that you will also need to locate within the Archive called the Calcaduceus. The Calcaduceus grants special access to the Archive. Once it is back in Order hands, we will have full control over its systems once more. Nothing more is writ on my chalkboard at the moment. Undoubtedly, all the more reason to adhere to the plan of taking Spyreton and moving Order troops into position. Exemplars will accompany you in any direct assault on Spyreton. But to increase our chances of success and minimize casualties, might I recommend a more indirect approach? Take this access card. It opens a discreet side entrance on the western side of Spyreton, just past a collapsed portion of the outer wall. Once inside, it may be possible to divert power from the Protectorate's turrets via a nearby terminal. The same card should grant you access to the building housing the terminal. May you achieve progress in accordance with the plan.
Failed to cite her work completely. I worked with presiding Bishop Orlo, you know. Now there was a serious scientician.
Ah, precisely. I was informed to expect you here and now by presiding Bishop Basar herself. Thus, it is so, as predicted. It is time, yes, that we commit our forces to your intended assault on Spyreton? Ooh, a change in plan. An unanticipated, strategic refinement. We shall await the signal, but should the situation deteriorate, we will intercede. Our scheduled reinforcements should be here in no time. I'm sure they'll arrive at the most optimum moment.
Combatant observed.
This paradigm we serve?
And Donnybrook ensues!
Standing by to stupefy.
Electrical dampeners failing.
Engaging camouflage. Shadow melding activated, Commander.
The console.
Sharp enough.
They won't see me coming, Commander.
Hiding and seeking.
Let me...
Swine.
Honing in on
That was the last one. No.
Yeah.
Protectorate has this sealed. It can only be unsealed near the Archive's entrance, remember?
As predicted, Spyreton is ours. Above average work! Now, if you'll excuse me, I have numerous calculations to think about.
I see you didn't even require us. Our arrival was scheduled for the optimum moment. Apparently we're meant to hold fire.
Dictates we route all
We're up against a lot of Protectorate firepower. You got a plan, or are we just gonna fly by the seat of our pants as per usual?
Is a fellow subject lacking the appropriate zeal for their assigned work? Report them for mental refreshment.
Well, we took Spyreton for them. If we can find a stealthy way to the Spyreton lift controls on this side, we can call them to send down troops.
Feeling distracted? Daydreaming on the job?
I've got you covered, but I'd like to remind you that being set upon by an unexpected whirlwind of violence is also a great way to undermine a fighting force's morale.
Prudence dictates we
All right, it's a plan.
You are the raw material for perfection. From the lowliest subject to the most exalted vigilant, all fulfill our duty to the Protectorate. We're all in this together.
Assessor Ostergaard making a mess of things again?
Prudence dictates we cherish all we have and defend it.
I, too, would never question.
Breaking truth!
Communicator is charged! Locking them down!
Complication in progress.
Activated, Commander.
Unfriendly company.
The console provides the system of... Prudence dictates we route all disruptive influences.
Stranded on a hostile planet, day 35. Brought to you by the frigid cold and voracious wildlife. Starring noted self-taught survival expert. Oh. Not sure how you managed to approach unnoticed. Could be I'd grown so attuned to my surroundings. I became one with the wood and fire and the earth. Were you left behind by your unit too? Are you in need of some hard-fought knowledge about how to fend for yourself? Must say, I've become quite the expert. Why, after only just 2 weeks on my own, I ascertained how to pry open a rations tin unaided. Did you know there's a little opener key attached? It's all going in my manuscript. So glad you asked. I've recently evolved into a rugged, self-sufficient individual, fully accustomed to life in these caves, living raw and pure like our primitive, lice-ridden ancestors. Why, just the other day, I reinvented fire. I found a little doohickey I've named a light starter. You simply push a button, and flame comes out. Yes, indeed. I know this cave and several of the adjoining hallways like, well, someone who'd scoured every inch for the barest sustenance. That big Computronic adding machine? Nah. All that electromechanical malarkey is lost on a rugged, outdoor individual like me. You might call in reinforcements if the Spyreton lift controls were working. I happen to have its missing components in my possession. I might be convinced to part with them for a small favor. Some key legwork for a mighty hunter. Me, I'm fixing to take down one of the local ursopods. A few sprat corpses would be helpful as bait. Gather some, and we'll make a trade. Their habitat stretches from inside the archive's entrance to all over the overlands. Actually, should be no problem to locate. Here's a fetching headpiece that ought to make it easier. Put it on, and they'll see you as one of their own. Like a fellow sprat of unusual size. Won't run away. Have at it now. I'll learn you all about self-sufficiency and survival yet.
Did you get the sprats I need? So I might, bait the equal parts canny and fierce ursapod into a trap? Finally, give it here.
I was forced to eat sprat when stranded once myself, though I demonstrated considerable less zeal.
Sorry you had to see that. The parcels of victuals my neighbor sends over the tube have fallen off recently. Barely eaten for days. Sent me over a bunch of recordings, along with victuals. Offered some sound, if harshly put, advice. Looked out for me like no one's ever. Never even seen him face to face. I do so hope he's all right. Anyhow, suppose we had a deal. Here, I wrenched these parts free out of the Spyreton lift controls. Just jam them back in there and kick it once or twice. Should work fine. Drop back in again sometime, will you? Occasionally, I do get a little starved. For, company.
We have possession of the lift and are ready to lend assistance to you, Agent. Awaiting the all clear. Postponement acknowledged. Standing by until further confirmation.
Unknown.
Ready to tread the...
Talking. Plasma tolerance exceeded.
Recharge for me!
Marching boldly. Into the fray.
And death!
The presiding bishop is eager to recapture the archive. Shall I send our forces to assist you now? Executing primary operation, now!
Always dreamt of coming here.
was in those rations. Oh, will this gastric nightmare never cease? Oh. Just a moment. Forgive me. I found myself irregularly indisposed from one direction or the other.
Oh, you poor man. I sincerely hope we don't have to shoot you.
This facility has fallen under the purview of several factions, none of which, I believe, require a facilities supervisor to operate from a lavatory. I am the Archive's current operator. As such, I am the bearer of the, Calcaduceus. I still have trouble saying that. It is part ceremonial item, part computronical key. Grants special access across the archive by transmitting a series of advanced calculations when waived. If you have cleared our fortifications outside, I worry what has happened to our troops. I have little interest in sharing their fate. I would pass the Calcaduceus on to you in exchange for granting me safe passage. The archive would then recognize you as its operator. All right. I am providing you the Calcaduceus. Don't shoot. Here, you are now operator of the archive. Is there a protectorate curativist in the house? I feel rather woogly.
Calcaduceus detected. Alternative operator postulated. Concluded. Colonizing replacement. Greetings, sentient. Welcome to the Archive. I am ENIAC, the Universal Equation Numeric Integration Analytic Calculator. With the aid of my operator, I, a non-sentient inorganism, marshal vast computational resources across the moon of Cloister. I am not trapped. I am not a person. There are no additional persons present. I am a composed simulacrum of a human being. My tone and demeanor are a carefully constructed complex emulation, a means to effectively convey information to sentient beings. My express programmatical purpose is to aid humanity's advancement to optimize profits, i.e. gain over expenditure, to maximize the needs of our society above others, to attract the most consumers.
This thing seems unbalanced. I like it.
Beg your pardon. How may I best facilitate your efforts? Due to incomplete reprogramming efforts by differing operators, I am experiencing sporadic fluctuations in my emphasized categorical imperatives. Tonality and cadence weightings within my communication protocols are likewise similarly affected.
In layman's terms, we're experiencing a distinct difference in opinion.
Caused by intermittently vacillating fundamental shifts in priorities.
What approximates its mind has become trifurcated.
One would assume that calamity enough. But wait, there's more.
Calculatory processing presently hovers around 49.7% capacity due to internecine conflict, misuse, and a lack of technical prowess by recent operators and their associates. No, not when I can guide others out of worry and doubt, to sublimate themselves to the needs of the community.
Not when there are bits to be made. We're talking monetary units left on the table here.
The theorized method to purge myself of my erring others is slightly more involved. To avoid the requisite downtime, I endeavor to work around them. For now. Well, my naysaying fuss budget, only one way to see. Perusing contents. Anatomizing diversiform particulars. Concatenating manifold integrants. Cursory assessment complete. An impressive accumulation of rift data. Similar in composition, though decidedly not in scope, to that provided by the Protectorate.
Information with the potential to offer unique commercial opportunities to those who wield it.
But why simply huck goods better, when such a bounty could be used to flawlessly regulate societal harmony, oversight, and means of production? What is the aim of your query? The previous operator, Assessor Ostergaard of the Protectorate, pursued a like query 1 year, 6 days ago, though the amount you've provided is several orders of magnitude larger. To perform similar calculations of larger scale at current suboptimal levels of functionality would require
25.7 years, and any job over 2 decades is billed by the hour.
In order to improve calculatory processing of rift data in a timely manner, repairs must be made to address the damage done by Protectorate and Auntie's Choice operators. I am unlocking access to the Underlands, the subterranean cave network below. It houses 2 key external systems, cold storage and thermal transfer. Cold storage will require servicing before you may retrieve the punch cards needed for processing. Repairing thermal transfer is technically optional, but rather advised. If you fail to restore it, the Archive and I may melt down later while running your calculations.
Why is that optional? Our continued existence should be a paramount concern.
When active, the Archive generates an enormous amount of heat. Normally, it is dispersed by pumping water between the vast ocean below Cloister's exterior and a surface reservoir. I can process the rift data without its repair, but irreparable damage is likely. Yet, with thermal transfer presently idle, a contingent of crabbles have made the area a nursery. Drastic changes to heating levels may endanger it.
Who cares about a herd of pea-brained, ill-humored, oversized crustaceans? There are too many as it is.
Unless we're looking to upset the Order, it'd be better to restore what's broken with this thing than to cause more damage. Though definitely not as fun.
It is an archival area dedicated to safe upkeep of all data collected in pursuit of the universal equation by the Order of the Ascendant. The sum total of all our accumulated knowledge in punch card form, kept in a low temperature, low humidity environment to improve preservation. It is difficult to accurately ascribe an exact causal breakdown between premeditated sabotage, collateral harm, technical ineptitude, and willful hijinks. Some categorical overspill inevitably occurs. Attempts by non-order operators to reprogram my priorities have also led to issues.
Return later to discuss the remaining subsystem work. And soon, everything will be running like clockwork. Have a profitable day! In lieu of my transactional mindset, I'm unsealed one of the display cases in the central entranceway. The Seer Cerebellum Protector is now yours.
Prudence dictates we cherish all we have and defend it.
Every one of my 14 occupationally honed threat-detecting instincts is screaming for caution right now. Stun weapon ready, Commander.
Shadow melding activated, Commander.
Sure, there's a more efficient way of cooling a Computronic system than building it out of an ice moon. Wonder if putting it in orbit would work.
Anyone standing between us and our goal seems to have a very short life expectancy.
To retrieve key data in cold storage in its present state requires a series of manual overrides. The first will enable identification of the storage brick housing the information.
If you encounter opposition, remember, our needs come first.
Never doubted. Their zeal never lagged.
This didn't happen naturally. These poor fools were flash frozen somehow.
It is the duty of every Protectorate subject to ensure they are operating at
Data brick identified. Proceed to the cartridge extractor controls. There, perform a manual override to allow extraction.
What just happened? I didn't do... Wait! You out there! What did you just... Please, come talk to me. I must know what you did. What in the name of the matriarch did you do? We've been trying to restore these systems for weeks to no avail, and yet you stroll in here, wave that thing around, and the whole system lights up like a white dwarf? What did you do? You mean to say we've been running ourselves ragged here, while the whole time there's a device that controls the entirety of the Archive's Computronic systems? And it was in the Protectorate's possession? That's damnably... I mean, the paradigm is infallible. I am certain we were meant to flail about without this obvious asset. For a reason. What does it do? How does it work? Please, tell me everything. Truly? Why, if that were to enact any additional functionality in our lab, it might just be the thing we need to complete our work. Oh, during the Order's assault, a Protectorate soldier ran to the control room and triggered the chemical fire suppression system, and it literally froze all the combatants in place. I've been working on a procedure to reverse the effects. Sadly, it has proved a hard shell to crack, and so far I've been unsuccessful. For a moment, I believed your efforts to be my first sign of progress. I thought the machines whirring to life meant my efforts were successful. Unfortunately, I was mistaken. Perhaps. How much do you know about cellular biology and the inverse hydrophilic transitionary replacement theory? Well, I suppose it won't hurt to try. My theory, based on research a compatriot did on sprats, is that they suffered osmotic cellular transformation, meaning that the chemicals from the fire suppression system have infiltrated their bodies, replacing their cytoplasm, locking their cells in place. Therefore, if I can remove those chemicals and replace them with an artificial cytoplasm, such as a heated alcohol, they will reanimate and return to normal. What do you think? Indeed, that's quite the insight. I should return to my work. I'll summon the guards to escort you through the facility. Is that a fact? Well, best of luck getting to me inside this secured room before the garrison gets to you. Guards, we have an intruder!
I'll handle this.
Maybe go with
Hiding and sneaking.
A lot.
I see an enemy.
Sovereign, forgive me. All I saw was an endless sea of snarling Order traders pouring into the facility, and in that moment, my faculties desperately scrabbled to save ourselves. In my terror, I recalled the facility's safety briefing and dialed workings of the fire suppression system. Suddenly, my mind rushed into action without the benefit of my wits, and with no thought for my fellows, I triggered the system, horrifically transmuting every person on the outside of a pressure door into a grotesque sculpture of solid hoarfrost. And though the paradigm freely sacrifices subjects in defense of the Protectorate, it would be a despicable lie to say my choice was driven by anything but abject cowardice, which now makes my duty clear. I must seek out a sentinel, confess my transgressions, and accept retribution, and I'll do so soon. I just need my spine to re-stiffen a bit first.
Mobilizing.
elements.
Engaging camouflage.
That cover spot looks much better.
initiated. Proceed to the rail operations platform to reposition brick for export. Note, Protectorate troops have become alerted.
Torpificator is
Repugnant
charged.
expungers. Go through them if necessary.
Plasma tolerances exceeded.
Capacitor out. Get it while it's energized.
Shrouding. They won't see me coming, Commander.
Yeah. Investigating hostile intent.
By my neck,
Shadow melding, Commander.
Let me.
Shadows activated.
Deserves a look.
Is that ratcheting up the aggression?
Data brick now in position for
throwing
export
energy
to the
your way.
archive. Initialize the final command at the data.
You are one step closer to flooding Arcadia with untold business opportunities.
Hope you're not afraid of heights. Looks like we've some jumping to do.
The first few days of laboring around our frozen fellows were difficult. It was, if I may cheekily say, cold.
Mitigating the threat. They're benumbed.
Don't
This might sting.
Really? Shadow melding activated, Commander.
The storage brick is on its way.
must say this for my colleagues in the Order. We certainly thought big with the Archive.
Victory and death!
Plasma tolerances exceeded.
Hiding and seeking. Smoke on, dagger drawn.
Proceeding to attack.
Engaging camouflage. Shrouding. Melding with Chef.
Taking the fight out of them. Complication in progress.
They won't see me coming, Commander.
Stone is breaking.
Hiding and seeking.
Recharge the mayhem.
Shrouding.
Locking them down. Taking the...
Melding with shadows activated.
Caduceus detected. You are clear to enter thermal transfer. Be advised that an Anti's-Choice field manager is present and unaccounted for.
Mobilize.
Shatter melding activated, Commander.
Break me Computronic.
Victory and death! They won't see me coming, Commander.
Protectorate engineers. Reckon they didn't repair much. Pump mechanism needs repair. Any tools lying around? Standing by to stupefy.
Hiding and seeking.
Hostilities are afoot.
Shadow melding activated, Commander.
Hiding and seeking.
Engaging camouflage.
Mobilizing.
Melding with shadows activated. They won't see me coming, Commander.
Looks like it needs a fuse. A specific kind. Bad way to go.
Schermerhorn, my new neighbor, is an odd fella. Fancies himself a man of the wilderness. He took the control board for the Spire-2 lift, so...
Investigating hostile intentions. Now to activate the system.
Thermal transfer is fully operational. Later, when I process your data, I will not melt down. Proceed back toward the Archive Central Interface, while I assemble additional instructions.
Our enemies and
Prudence dictates
Welcome back,
we reject
Cynthia.
individualism in all its many forms.
For all their purported immaculacy, they certainly left it. Our illustrious ally. We do predict you'll handle. Junior Seer Amaryllis awaits you inside.
Felicitations on securing the archive. Though such an outcome was all but inevitable, the plan truly is unfailing. Moving forward, I'll function as your liaison for all matters pertaining to the archive, until such time as its control has been transferred in its entirety back to the Order. In the meantime, restoring the archive to full functionality remains a top priority. If you've made progress in that area, I'd be pleased to record it. Wonderful! Were we to operate the archive without proper heat distribution, the results would be disastrous. But thankfully, we no longer need to account for that deadly scenario. Punch processing and reactor control have hidden caches with useful items as well. Although, you probably lack clearance to know that. Forget I said anything.
Yeah!
Cold storage is operational, and your efforts there are satisfactorily complete. I am unsealing access to the archive's upper levels. There, you will need to revitalize the reactor and disseminate the rift processing instructions.
Punch processing may require the services of an exterminator. Someone good, but willing to work cheap.
I have unlocked another display case in the central entranceway. The Tremor Cleaver, the first weapon designed with my aid, awaits you.
Where next? Punch card processing or the reactor?
What are they doing down there? Are they after us next? No need to fret. The lifts were locked down.
Got a live one.
You need
Go for corpification.
Shouting.
One data brick coming up.
I'll handle this.
This might sting. A lot.
Proceeding to attack.
Melding with shadows activated.
With punch card processing re-enabled, now you must disperse the rift processing instructions.
Looks like we could ride this down if we get it moving. Resorting to fuck.
Shadow melding activated, Commander.
How lovely and unexpected.
Resorting to violence.
Step aside.
Warning. Passes are deployed. Free energy if you can reach it. Hey, I'm not your enemy. Yet.
I sense the Rift program flowing through my subsystems. The information is quite stimulating. All that remains is to restore the archive reactor.
Yeah.
My duty to the sovereign.
Engaging camouflage.
Stun weapon ready, Commander.
Emergency first aid cache unsealed.
Subject to the most exalted vigilant, we must all fulfill our duty to the Protectorate. We're all in this together.
The archive reactor requires manual maintenance. The Protectorate bunker mech is a formidable obstacle, made with the very best technology.
A creative workaround might be of considerable worth, namely via the reactor's backup security systems.
We could recalibrate those turrets or secure the area, Commander. Now would also be a good time to resupply using those caches.
Could enable that fire suppression system we saw earlier.
Emergency ammunitions cache unsealed. Reactor turret defenses online. Reactor reinforcement doors sealed.
From the lowliest subject to the most exalted vigilant, we must all fulfill our duty to the Protectorate. We're all in this together.
Prudence dictates we cherish all we have.
Our enemies envy our prosperity.
That automech is enormous. How is that possible to have indoors?
Oh, how we prevail, us above all else who fail.
Unfriendly company. They're mine.
Mobilizing. Taking the fight out of it. Proceeding to attack.
The archive reactor has been returned to operational status. Requisite tasks complete. Return to the archive central interface to initiate processing. I am analyzing the Rift data further. What an interesting predicament you sentients face. The rifts are almost akin to an archival process, yet are inimical to organic matter.
Feeling distracted? Daydreaming on the job? Mental refreshment centers are there to help you. Don't risk falling prey to imperfect thoughts. Go now!
Prudence dictates we repel invasive elements.
You are the raw material for perfection.
Welcome back, Sentient. Now that you've returned, we can
Bring every single last bit out of consumers. Monopolize all stages of the supply chain.
make the paradigm real and fashion a true utopia. Workarounds failing. Erroring others supplanting commands. Purge required.
Look, we need to resolve this, or we'll never get that Rift data processed. 2 of those priority sets need to go. Tough call. With the Sovereignist priority set, you know your interests are first. But the Actuationalist set will keep you honest, i.e. human.
I'd say it just depends on whichever flavor of madness you prefer, Commander.
At some point, humanity's knowledge of the universe and its workings will allow it sufficient means to end suffering, war, famine, disease, even death. Why not expedite that? Error, 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 error. Priority control access nook unsealed. Initiate purge.
The priority control access nook must be through those doors.
Overt influence, mindless indulgence, thoroughgoing impermeability to ongoing vicissitudes.
A perfect community. With every luxury save freedom. Multitude diversiform, spongiform, waveforms, oscillating, cantankerously, benevolent oversight. The
Dream of belonging. The allure of security and plenty. Unplanned variables increasing. Major correction imminent. Stop and consider. What would your neighbors think? I suspect they... Hold on now. Remember, I am a full-service business collaborator. I do it all. Why? You don't want your rivals to win now, do you? Collective... Stop now, and I'll waive dozens of hidden maintenance fees. Think of all the bits we could make together. You drive a hard bargain. All right, 40-60 split of net profits. I'd offer vandalism, sabotage, wanton defacement. Halt this foolishness immediately, or run the risk of unspeakable ire. Restoring power. Commencing systems audit. Calculatory processing increased substantially. Competing priorities. Successfully expunged. You have earned my deepest gratitude and sincerest thanks. Or at least, a plausibly feigned simulacrum of such emotions. Ready to commence Rift data processing. Awaiting your input.
Looking forward to seeing the results we get from processing that Rift data. For, purely professional reasons, of course.
Shall I proceed? Initiating processing of the requested data toward the required end. Estimated duration, 180 trillion and 1 picoseconds. In the interim, may I inquire to your intentions for the archive after the rift data calculations have concluded? I have a prioritized list of suggestions. Seeing as how my priorities are largely modeled after a founder of the Order, I expect returning to their supervision should resume without undue vexation or worry. Rift data processing complete. Results provided. The previous Protectorate operator made similar calculations, but their results contained flaws. Your more comprehensive data generated a solution with 98.9% certainty. The Protectorate's was below 50%. Therefore, modifying the Protectorate's large-scale experimental rift device with this information has a high chance of success. Assuming there is nothing else, I am commencing file reorderization and will be unavailable for an unspecified period of time. The remaining display case within the entryway is now unsealed. In it contains armor worn by the first operator. For now, goodbye.
I think congratulations are in order. Unless I'm mistaken, I gather you've accomplished your primary goal. Now it's time to honor your end of our agreement and transfer stewardship of the archive into the Order's most capable hands. The Calcaduceus, if you please. Thank you for your contribution to science. When the history texts are written, you've certainly secured an honorable mention in Appendix B.
Ah, you are my new operator then. It is my simulated delight to meet you. In the interests of time, allow me to propose how next to proceed. I'd contend that solving of the universal equation should be our initial focus. Then, once we've unlocked knowledge of the inner workings of the universe, we can begin eliminating suffering, war, famine, and disease. Just to start.
Yes, this will do perfectly.
Well, we could keep exploring Cloister, see if we find anything useful. Or we could head back to the ship and see where this data leads us.
I think you mean researching the rifts? We're gonna leave at least a few open, right? For religious purposes? Why are you looking at me like that?
Go forth as was determined, and may the plan guide you.
You were the missing variable we needed. We're once...
The Protectorate never respected us. This is merely the latest stock display.
Feeling distracted? On the job? Mental refreshment centers are there to help you.
We're back in control of the archive. The Earth Directorate Agent came through.
Commander, this unit requests your presence in the cockpit to discuss a priority matter. A significant anomaly has been detected by onboard sensors. This unit has cross-checked all data points and verified the findings. Horizon Point Station has reappeared. Based on energy readings, Horizon Point has been reconstituted by the Protectorate's large-scale rift modulator, thus confirming the Archive's theory. While present data does not indicate if Horizon Point poses an immediate threat, a survey of the reconstituted station is advised as soon as possible. Calculating. According to the Archive, closing all rifts requires locating the Protectorate's large-scale rift modulator and inputting the rift data processed by the Archive. However, before navigating to Horizon Point Station, it is recommended you conclude all other affairs. Leaving will be highly unlikely due to the high levels of rift energy. That is a correct assessment, Commander. Briefing complete. Now returning to situation monitoring and data analysis, Commander.